What's up, my dudes? It's been a while since my last project. This is a pretty cheap one. We're gonna do some mud flaps today. These were like 30 bucks on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. I think they're genuine rally armor. They feel alright, they look alright. Just a universal kit, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. So my truck has a 2-inch level lift, and there's plenty of clearance on the back. These tires are technically 3 inches bigger than stock. These are 32-inch BFG KO2s on stock wheels. And I have airbags in the back, which raise it a little bit too. I only run about 7 pounds in these airbags. Just for daily commuting and stuff, you can run up to about 30 pounds in them. So on the back, I think I'm going to try to use these factory bolts, and then there's like a little recess right here. It's maybe an inch and a half. I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of spacer so the mud flap is straight. There's a little crease right here that's kind of perfect. It's perfectly flat and horizontal. It's about the same width as this little lip, so I think I'm just gonna run it right up to that, use those factory bolts, and then make my own little spacer on the back so the mud flap is straight. Let's get on Creeper and I'll show you the bottom. So these two factory little bolts were 7mm bolts, same as these guys. This is just like a mud flap cover. So what I'm thinking is I'll mount these two. And I found this concrete anchor. I just took off the cone nut on the bottom and just threw a regular nut I had in the scrap pile. I think that's going to be a good enough spacer to keep my mud flap level with this edge. I'll drill a hole through both, take these off so I could throw the nut on. I don't know which direction I'm going to go. Tighten that up and then throw these back on, and that should be it for the back. So what I got is a white paint marker. I'm just going to paint some fresh paint on top of these bolts. I'm going to line this tab up with this little crease. Press that down so the paint transfers, and then I could drill my holes. There we go, top one, bottom one. So we'll just drill a couple holes real quick, take those out, mount that one, and then we'll drill a hole for the back. Boom, there it is. See, there's still that gap in the back, so that's what that spacer is going to be needed for, but mud flap's already pretty straight and parallel with the tire, sitting nice and straight. Oh yeah, gonna have nice tire coverage. And whoever's driving behind me next, you're welcome. Still gonna try to do this without taking the tire off. I got the bit through the mud flap, try to drill it straight through the plastic. There we go. I ended up trimming this little spacer down a little bit, and that edge was pretty sharp, so I just threw a washer on here because I didn't want this to like vibrate its way and cut a hole through this. Threw these factory bolts back on. Only drilled one tiny hole through factory plastics. I think most people could live with that. I still have to do the driver's side, but it shouldn't take long now that I figured it out. Well dang, I got too excited. The driver's side was gonna be as easy as the passenger side. I marked these factory bolts the same as the other side, drilled them, mounted them, and then realized I can't mount the inside the same as the other side because there's no plastic here. So I got a lot of room under here. I did take off my spare tire. Alright, so now this is just flopping around right here, not supported. So what I'm gonna do, I got this leftover heat shield. I already bent it and drilled a couple holes in it. I think this was left over from my airbag project because that's kind of a universal kit in case you needed some heat shielding to block the airbag from heat. But you could use any L bracket. Mark a dot where I'm going to drill a hole. Mount this. It's going to come down to the back side, and then I'll just mount it to this little L bracket tab. Use these little rib nuts and a bolt that fits these to kind of permanently mount this to the top, and I'll find some short hardware, lock washer or blue Loctite to mount the flap to this. Here's a little nutsert tool. So this is your threaded rib nut. You put it onto this tool. You stick it in the hole you just drilled, and when you squeeze this, it's gonna flare the inside of this. These little ribs are gonna bite into that hole, and this is gonna mushroom and be fixed in place so you can permanently have some threads to thread in and out. Alright, drilled a 3/8 hole. I hit it with some paint so it doesn't rust. This is just touch-up paint I had laying around in the box. I'm gonna throw this in there, squeeze it, mushroom it out, and then I can mount my little L bracket, and I'll find some hardware for the mud flap. So here's the final install. Got a bolt through there. It does have a lock washer and blue Loctite. Found some short hardware for the front. There's a nylon lock nut, but I did throw a drop of blue Loctite on there as well. We'll see how this goes. It's not super heavy duty. If I have problems with this, I can always swap it out for something thicker. I got plate steel in the corner, but I'll pull it out in the sun for a little better shot. And we'll probably tackle the front another day.